It is day 4 of our 7-night cruise aboard Carnival Jubilee, and today, it's our first port stop. We are on the Island of Roatan in Honduras, at the port of Mahogany Bay. Carnival Cruise Line uses a different port in Roatan than all the other cruise lines that are out there. Carnival actually operates the port of Mahogany Bay. So this is the first time that we've come to this port. And we had no clue what to expect because I did very little research because for whatever reason, it seems like one port on all of our trips we just kind of neglect or just kind of decide that we're just going to see what happens when we get off the ship. And on this cruise, it was Mahogany Bay. Mahogany Bay has spots for 2 different cruise ships, and typically they would both be filled, but on our cruise, we were the only ones here. So what is there to do in Roatan and Mahogany Bay in particular? Well, Carnival Cruise Line had a ton of different excursions, but we had planned excursions for the other 2 ports that we were going to, so we just didn't plan anything for this port. We could have gone scuba diving or snorkeling or gone to one of the bird sanctuaries or animal sanctuaries that they allow you to visit. There's also fishing excursions. You can go kayaking, boating. There's all kinds of stuff to do here. There's actually a lot of stuff to do in Roatan, in Mahogany Bay in particular. The port of Mahogany Bay actually has a 20-acre welcome center area that has shops and food and different things that you can do. And then right next to that is the beach area. And at the beach area, there are plenty of also shops. There's tons of little restaurants and bars that you can get a good drink or a good bite to eat. And of course, there's a gigantic beach with plenty of spaces just to lay out and relax, or to go in the water, or just take in the scenery. There's even walking and nature trails in this area where you can walk through a small little mountain and hill with a bunch of trees that has wildlife, including lizards and birds. It also gives you some really good views of the ship and the port. So if you like taking pictures of cruise ships, you got a really great view of Carnival Jubilee in this area as well. So what did Nicole and I do? Well, we got off the ship, we walked through the Welcome Center area, and then went right to the Mahogany Bay beach area. We walked through the beach, checked out some of the shops and restaurants, explored a little bit in this area, walked all the way to the edge of the pier, took in some of the great scenery, and then on the way back, we checked out the kayaking and the other little things that you can pay to do. I think if we were not planning to do stuff in Costa Maya and Cozumel on this trip, we probably would have done some more stuff in Mahogany Bay on this stop. The kayaking looked super fun. They charged $46 for an hour for 2 people to go kayaking, and that's usually a pretty good deal. They also had some other boats you can rent and jet skis and that sort of stuff. And I think next time that we come to this port with a Carnival Cruise Line ship, maybe on Princess or one of their other lines, we're definitely going to do the kayaking because that looked the most fun of all the stuff they had. They also had a ski lift that goes from one end of the island to the other. If you're not afraid of heights, this is probably a good way to take in the scenery. Unfortunately, Nicole is afraid of heights, so we did not do this time. Overall, we thought Mahogany Bay was a very nice port with a lot of stuff to do. It actually seems like a better overall idea of a port than, let's say, Costa Maya, because Costa Maya is more of a dedicated cruise port as well. And we believe you probably would want an excursion or to do one of the many activities out of this port if you're coming here. The beach is really relaxing, the water's nice. Overall, you can't really have a bad day here, in our opinion. And the food doesn't seem to be too overly priced at any one of the shops or bars that are along the way. After we were done walking through the beach area of Mahogany Bay, we walked through all the little shops and did some shopping. There's a ton of different little gift shops and food stores and places to grab a quick bite to eat. Overall, we had a good time in the 3 hours that we spent on land in Roatan at Mahogany Bay. The only other time that we were in Roatan was with Royal Caribbean, and of course that's a different port, and that port when we were there was under construction, so we didn't really have an idea of what we wanted to do this time, so we just kind of explored and walked around. It's okay to do that on your cruise. You don't have to have an excursion in every single port. You don't have to map out your entire trip and have something planned for every day that you're out on your cruise. Some days you can just relax and take a nice stroll and see what's out there, and that's exactly what we did. Next time we'll probably do the kayaking and a couple of the other experiences that are available, but this time it was just a chill, relaxing port day. It was pretty hot when we were in Roatan, so we headed back to the ship and went back to the room to kind of relax and get cleaned up. We checked in for dinner that night. It was probably the most chaotic experience we had in the main dining room on this entire trip. So like we said in our earlier videos, you do check in for the main dining room. You don't actually make reservations if you have anytime dining, and it'll alert you when you need to go to the main dining room. When your table is ready, it'll say on the app. And we went down to the main dining room when it said it was ready, and the line went from the Pacific dining room on deck 7 all the way past the Alchemy Bar, which is a really long line. We're not sure if there was a systematic issue or it just kind of how it went about on that night when the tables were ready, but we waited a really long time in that line just to get to the front of the line to be able to get to our table. But let's talk about the food. For our appetizers, I had teriyaki chicken, Nicole had the crab cake. For dinner, I had the roast pork, and Nicole had the beef Wellington. And then for dessert, we had the chocolate lava cake and the key lime pie. Overall, my food, the teriyaki chicken and the roasted pork, were just okay. They were probably the least favorite of the meals that we had on board this cruise, and the food that we've had on this cruise has actually been very good up until this point. Nicole liked the crab cake. She did say that the crab cake on Royal Caribbean was slightly better. And she had the beef Wellington, which is one of Nicole's favorite dishes. Every time we go to a Gordon Ramsay restaurant, she has to get it. So she liked it. It wasn't as good as Gordon Ramsay, obviously, but it was still a good dinner. For dessert, the chocolate lava cake on Carnival Cruise Line is the chocolate lava cake. It's very good. The key lime pie, though, it didn't really taste like a key lime pie. It was more of a cheesecake base to it, and it didn't really taste like lime. Nicole loves key lime pie, and if you watched our Key West video, you know how much we enjoy getting key lime pie, and it just wasn't that great. So overall, dinner was okay. It was super hectic. Way more hectic than any main dining room that we've ever been in, and it was kind of a change from what we've experienced previously on this cruise. So I guess it's just a one-off thing. Maybe. When we left the dining room, there was still a line of people trying to get in there, so their system had to have been messed up, which was sending everybody to the dining room way before their tables were ready. If you know Nicole and I, you know that we don't take the elevators on our cruise ships. And that's a couple different reasons. One, taking the elevators is kind of slow at times, and we just want to get up to where we're going. But two, as much as we like to say the calories don't count on your cruise, they do, and we like to burn off that extra 15th dessert that we have on our cruise so we don't gain too much weight while we're on vacation. So we take the stairs everywhere. And on this cruise, we were on deck 5 with our room, and oh boy, did we take the stairs, and we were definitely worn out after day 4. If you want to go from deck 5 all the way up to where Guy's Burger Joint is at on deck 16 or 17, that is 12 different flights of stairs. And for whatever reason, the flights of stairs on Carnival Jubilee felt like climbing Mount Everest at times. Maybe I'm just out of shape. I did lose a decent amount of weight before this cruise because I've been dieting, and I've never felt more out of shape climbing those stairs on this cruise. So we would probably recommend getting a room somewhere in the middle if you're going to take the stairs. So let's say deck 9. So you had a couple floors down and a couple floors up to get to where you're going. But man, deck 5 all the way to the top, that's rough. Just know that if you're one of the stairs people like we are. I love being a tourist, and one of the best things about being a tourist is finding souvenirs while you're on your cruise or on your vacation. Carnival does have a Carnival shop, so a logo shop on board. It's over on deck 8 right by Summer Landing, and they sell a ton of different shirts and sweaters and little tchotchkes and stuff. They're all Jubilee or Carnival themed. We didn't purchase anything this time because I just wasn't feeling the designs that they had on this ship. There was a couple cool things. Maybe if we sold Carnival more, we'd be more into it. The Spirit jerseys, Nicole loved them. It's just, again, this is our first Carnival cruise, and I'm not sure when the next time we're going to book another one, but they were pretty cool. Some of the t-shirts were kind of Texas themed or Americana themed, and just wasn't our style. And they had one of the creepiest looking mascots in a stuffed animal form that I've ever seen. But overall, the merch on board is of good quality. I kind of like the merch on Icon of the Seas and Utopia and Odyssey better, and Wonder especially. But I think it's better than some of the older Royal Caribbean ships overall. So if you're looking for a souvenir, make sure you check out the logo store on Deck 8 on Carnival Jubilee. There's actually a really cool thing to do over in the currents section of Carnival Jubilee. It's on Deck 7. It's actually on Deck 6 and 7, but the area that you can actually go to and play with the currents is on Deck 7, right after the Alchemy Bar. And above the Dr. Ink's area and above Emerald's Legacy's restaurant there on the current section of Deck 6, there's windows, and if you look at the ceiling, there's actually some more lights and displays and stuff up there. And during certain times of the day, they change the theme of these windows or these screens and stuff to kind of match whatever's going on. But you also have the ability to change it yourself. You can actually change the currents, and there's a couple different scenes that you can go through while you do this. Everything from the Arctic to the ocean, the swamp areas, the woodlands. Basically, there's a bunch of different ocean or water type areas that you can change it to. And as soon as you hit the button, you can look up at the screens, and then it'll change the scenes that are up there. It was really cool. It's going to be really fun for like the kids to kind of control this screen that is in this area. They also do an event during the day where kids can actually draw out a fish or a sea creature of some sort, and then they actually scan that into the machine, and then your fish will show up on the screens above Dr. Ink's as well. So kind of check that out. It's on Deck 6 and 7 of Carnival Jubilee, and it's kind of fun. We enjoyed it. It's a cool little touch. Even the ceiling changes based on what scenes are going on. Make sure you check it out. Speaking of entertainment, the entertainment tonight in the Jubilee Theater was some of the best entertainment that we had on board during this cruise. There's a couple things that Carnival does incredibly well, but one of them is the game shows. And tonight, they did 3 different showings of Family Feud, and it looked just like the Family Feud you would see on TV, minus Steve Harvey, of course. Kendall Fire, the cruise director, and the assistant cruise director did an amazing job hosting for Family Feud, and it honestly was the best presentation of Family Feud that we've ever had on a cruise ship, and we highly recommend anybody go to the Jubilee Theater when you're showing this. It was super fun, it was funny, and it was one of the best parts about this cruise. It just looks like Family Feud, and I love Family Feud. But make sure you check it out on your cruise. They show it 3 different times on day 4, and it was awesome. Just look at it. It's great. Last thing that we went to was something that we were kind of interested in, because when you hear adult game show, we think of Crazy Quest on Royal Caribbean, and Crazy Quest is one of my favorite things to do on cruises. So we had to check it out. The adult game show took place in the Punchliner Comedy Club, and they gave you a warning, just like Crazy Quest does, that it will get crazy. But let me tell you, it wasn't that good. I honestly think the adult game show on Carnival Jubilee is a skip. It's not good at all, and which was kind of disappointing. No offense to the 2 workers that are part of the fun squad that were running it, that were doing their best with what they were trying to do, but it felt more along the lines of that Chris Farley skit from Saturday Night Live, like, hey, remember when? And they were telling like dirty jokes or would you rathers and that sort of stuff. It wasn't all that great. Nicole and I did leave that a little early, and I don't think we would ever do that again. Crazy Quest is definitely better on Royal Caribbean. So if you see the adult game show on Carnival Jubilee, it's not something that you have to do. Maybe check it out and then go do something else. It wasn't the greatest. The game shows, like Family Feud, were much better on night 4. So go to do those instead. This is kind of a shorter video because we were just kind of checking out Mahogany Bay this time, and it was more of a chill day. There wasn't too much going on night 4. Family Feud was awesome. Mahogany Bay was great to walk around in, but the main dining room was super chaotic, and the adult game show was not enjoyable at all. If you have any questions about what we did in Mahogany Bay, or if you have something that you like to do in Mahogany Bay or Roatan, make sure you leave those in the comment section below. If you'd like to support our channel, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us out way more than you realize. And if you need us, we'll be climbing those stairs all the way up to deck 16 to get another bite to eat. I'm Travis. Thanks so much for watching.